So I spent 24 hours in Forza Horizon 3 to find out whether it is the best in the series or people are just blinded by nostalgia. And in fact, Forza Horizon 5 is the best Forza Horizon game out there. So I would load up into the tent. And first that you cannot not notice, it's the graphics difference and performance issues. But luckily I got that sorted. A few restarts have magically fixed the game. But it's the vegetation. Forza Horizon 4 and 5 have much higher quality grass. But let's be honest, the game still looks great, and most certainly the graphics are not going to be something holding you back from either coming back or buying Forza Horizon 3, since it is cheaper nowadays. So that is also a valid question we will answer. And in short, for the ones who want to click off the video immediately, yes, if you're not into multiplayer, which let's be honest, the spirit of Horizon would scare more than one poltergeist, the game is worth it. The single player content and the map and all is worth it, and also the expansions are worth it. But more on them sometime later. Forza Horizon started as a fresh new branch of Forza games, and while first 3 installments were objectively better and better games, with Horizon 4 the improvements and new content already started to show signs of series getting comfortable at its spot and some kind of huge innovation. That would be too risky, and thus we have ended up with Horizon 5. Now don't take me wrong, Horizon 5 is a good game, but that was for example Battlefield 4, 2, but then Battlefield 1 and then Battlefield 5, and then your games are barely pulling ahead of an online board games sales. As we all know, when Horizon Festival comes to your country, your odds of survival of a trip to the market are, let's say, limited. Well, when Horizon Festival came to Australia, on the later part of the year 2016, it was objectively the best Horizon game. The intro, music, 371 cars at launch, and the Australia itself looked very nice, since Playground Games have done something Australians have not managed, and that is killing all emus, spiders, snakes, and leaving Australia for the first time actually habitable environment. But enough of what was, and let me tell you, what have I experienced in my 24 hours in Forza Horizon 3. I assume that most of you have played Forza Horizon 3 in the past, so you just like me would load up into one of the 4 tents the Horizon Festival has set up around the map. And if you have not played the Forza Horizon 3, then you will load into the intro section, which in my opinion is pretty amazing. Although in my subjective eyes, the Forza Horizon 4 has a better intro sequence, especially the seasons give it a lot. But let's not forget that whether it's off-roading, highway speed races, street racing and way more, Horizon 3 has got you covered. At least just as good as 4 or 5. If you're new to the game, you might be surprised that you are actually the big boss of the Horizon Festival, and it's your duty to deliver the spirit of Horizon to Australians, replacing the dangers of spiders and snakes with danger of getting run over by your maniacal 8-year-olds. First, the handling and difficulty. You might actually find that handling is across the Horizon games fairly similar, and getting accustomed to it takes almost no time. But the difficulty is surprising, because while in Forza Horizon 4 you can shred opponents on the highest difficulty, here on hardest difficulty they will give you a run for your horses. Speaking of horses, since we are now standing upside down, you will get to drive a lot of local cars and experience the car culture of Australia, which is not just Vegemite on bread wheels. But it is true that the local Holden car company has gone bust just a year after the release of this game, which means that you will often notice appearance of these pickup coupe vehicles, as I like to call them. But the biggest reason to go back to Forza Horizon 3 is the map. The map might be the smallest of the 3, 4 and 5, but it feels the largest, since it has incredible variety, and I mean rainforests, deserts, airfields, city, beach with rocks and shipwrecks, plains, and yes, there are lots of roads. Obviously there are slight things that Forza Horizon 3 lacks. It's for example the traffic being turned on when you cross a speed zone, so it's a roulette whether you survive or not, like anything on Australia really. More noticeable but less annoying are the barriers. While Forza Horizon 4 and 5 lets you go anywhere you please, Forza Horizon 3 is a little bit more restrictive, and you might find that you won't penetrate every barrier. I spent 24 hours mainly cruising around the map and trying out all the race types, bucket lists and duels. Also your typical races with planes, helicopters and boats. There's a lot of content. You can also recruit 8-year-olds into your own lineup. Quite a questionable decision, and maybe even a legal one. There is just too much content, and that is why I look at the Horizon games not like a game you buy, like a Call of Duty, and play through it and then go to another installment, but more like one you pick, and it covers all your cruising and casual driving needs for at least a year, and maybe even longer. But now let's log recommendations, and what have I learned in 24 hours in. Is Forza Horizon 3 better than the newest installment? Well, objectively no, and Forza Horizon 5 should be the better game. Yet I would rather cruise with a car in Australia, albeit with less grass, rather than in Mexico, where there is all grass and even weed, plenty. Personally, I find Forza Horizon 4 to be the title for me, since I do not like the desert environment so much, so the less of a variety combined with the seasons creates the perfect game for me. But if it would not be for my preferences, Forza Horizon 3 has just the right Horizon spirit, and while this term is in the same category as Nuclear Holocaust, the Forza Horizon 3 is a game where you can feel at home, and whether you're a new or returning player, regretting coming back is not gonna happen. And let's not forget that if in any case you'll get accustomed to Australia, there's always 2 amazing expansions in form of Blizzard Mountain and Hot Wheels, and they will keep your insanity. Forza Horizon 3 is going to become a home to anyone who joins the festival.